Ma'am.
Yes, start.
Good morning, respected teachers, my seniors, my juniors, and my dear friends. Today, I, Shrawan from fourth semester, Neha Chettri from second semester, and Ajit Tiwari from second semester of Sudarshan Group will be presenting on the topic Cyclotron. Next slide. These are the brief subtopics that we will be going through in this presentation. Like, what is a cyclotron? A cyclotron is a device that accelerates charged particles like protons or a combination of protons and neutrons, deuterons to higher energy levels. It was invented by Ernest O. Lawrence and M.S. Livingston in the year 1934 to investigate the nuclear structure. And due to this discovery or this invention, Ernest O. Lawrence was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 1939. Next slide. The principle of cyclotron. Cyclotron basically works on the principle that a charged particle moving normal or perpendicular to a magnetic field experiences magnetic Lorentz force, due to which the particle moves in a circular path with increasing velocities. Next slide. Working. As you can see, there are as you can see there are please there there are two, uh, in the cyclotron there are two hollow half cylinders made up of high conducting metals known as D1 and D2, which are placed such that both the two straight edges face each other with a small gap between them. Now, these two Ds are connected to two terminals of an alternating voltage source or an oscillator that helps in changing the polarity of the Ds. When D1 is positive, D2 is negative at the same time, and vice versa. In this way, when they oscillate, an electric field is created between them. In then one electromagnet is placed below the D's and one is placed above it, as you can see in the picture on the bottom left side. The bottom electron is the north pole, while the above one is the south pole. This would create a magnetic field perpendicular to the direction of electric field. Then this entire arrangement is sealed in a vacuum box. The direction of electric field is horizontal. Next slide. While that of the magnetic field is vertical. Now, when we place a positively charged particle like a proton or a combination of proton and neutron both, and say that D1 is positive and D2 is negative. Therefore, there is a force that acts on this charged particle and accelerates it till it enters the other D, till it enters D2. Then when the particle enters D2, there is no electric field, as but due to the magnetic field acting perpendicular to it, the particle experiences a force, a centripetal force, which makes the charged particle to move along a circular path. As soon as this particle comes out of D2, it is is influenced by the electric field. Then the electric field accelerates the charged particle to a velocity v1. And since the particle has more, and this process goes ongoing, keeps on going, then when it change, then as soon as it reaches d1, it changes the polarity. Then d1 becomes minus and t2 becomes positive. Then the same thing goes on going through. Since there is an increase in velocity, the radius also increases. And when the particle has no more space to grow in radius, it is thrown out of the it is thrown out through a window with such high velocity. Next slide. The particle which has a very high energy too, and then hits the target. Next slide. Applications of cyclotrons. Cyclotrons are widely used in nuclear labs or physics labs experiments to accelerate a charged particle, and are also used to bombard atomic nuclei. It is also used in the treatment of cancer. Cyclotrons are also used for nuclear transmutation, that is the change of nuclear structure. Next. Advantages. The study of electromagnetic waves. The particle that is accelerated in a cyclotron emits electromagnetic radiation, and this radiation is known as cyclotron radiation. And this radiation help us to study electromagnetic waves. Nuclear physics. Cyclotron, as you know, is used to accelerate the particles to a speed near to the speed of light, and is used to understand more about nuclear physics. Number 3, treatment of cancer. Cancer is basically an growth of an extra tissue that the body doesn't want. High-speed ion beam can be used to penetrate the human body and to kill the tumor in the human body. Next. Limitations. Cyclotrons cannot accelerate new electrons because electrons have very little mass or small mass. It cannot even accelerate neutral particles, but it can accelerate a combination of neutrons and protons. It even cannot accelerate positively charged particles with a very high large mass due to the relativistic effect. Next. Here are some of the references that that our group used to make the presentation. Next. And thank you.
Okay, good presentation, Shravan.
Dasa, you can please unmute yourself. I'm sorry I had to mute you because of the
It's all right.
background noise.
I could listen everything.
Yes.
Is there any question asking from, session? Can we ask any question or simply we will, give the mark?
No, sir, we'll ask questions. I'm actually going, if any of the students have questions, we'll let them ask.
Okay, let them ask. Let them ask.
If any of the students have questions, you can unmute yourselves and then ask. Otherwise, you can type it out in chat. If not, Dasa, you can please go ahead and ask questions.
Shrawan, are you aware that there is a cyclotron in Kolkata, besides
Yes,
in
sir.
other places also?
Yes, sir.
Do you aware this thing? Where is it? Where is it located? There is a big laboratory in Kolkata. Okay, I'm giving the answer. Shah Institute of Nuclear Physics, right? It is in Bidhannagar. There is a cyclotron center that is known as Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, VECC. Variable energy cyclotron is a different thing, but basically it is a cyclotron, right? And in other places also in our country, there was a, there is a cyclotron facility in Nuclear Science Center in JNU. And of course, in other places, Reactor Research Center Kalpakkam, there also cyclotron is there. And initially, one cyclotron was designed by M.N. Shah himself, Meghnad Shah himself, when the VECC was located in Rajabajar Science College. I have seen that thing. Anyway, these are the reference, not related to physics course and physics examination. This is for general knowledge. Anyway, your presentation is good. You have searched the reference and other things, and I hope that your interest in this area will remain. You can sustain with that interest. Okay, thank you. We can proceed for other questions from other teachers.
Okay, I had a question. If I
Yes.
No, it's not for you, Shravan. You are the one who presented. You take a break. Ajit, can you unmute yourself? Q&A is for everyone, by the way, not just the presenter. Okay, Ajit, unmute yourself.
Morning, teachers.
Morning, Ajit. All right, Ajit. So, simple one. Why cannot a cyclotron accelerate neutral particles?
So neutron particles.
Yeah,
So they are ideal, sir. They are neither negative charged nor positively charged.
that's the definition of a neutral particle. Go on.
So it's heavy. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry to say, but sir, I'm in funeral right now, sir. So actually, I'm in
Oh,
Bihar.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So one of my relatives expired.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Then
So
you may, okay, then you may log off then.
so please, sir, don't mind.
That's okay. My condolences. You may log off from the meet, Ajit. It's fine. Is Neha there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you answer the question, Neha?
For sense, because neutral particles don't have any charge, that's the reason a cyclotron cannot accelerate neutron particles.
Not pinpointed answer.
Okay, you need to be a little bit more specific. You know the answer, but you have to be specific about it.
Neha, what has charge to do with that? I mean, try to connect that.
So because that will not experience, and uncharged particles cannot experience any electric or magnetic force.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all.
Very good, very good. Yeah.
See, you knew the answer, but you still need to sort of, present it properly. That's good. Then one other question, and then I'll open it to either Neha or Shravan. At one point, you said that you can also use cyclotrons to sort of understand nuclear physics because you can accelerate particles to light speed. Can you give a little bit more detail about that? Either Shravan or Neha can answer this.
Like it does not go to the speed of light. It goes like to one by tenth power to one tenth of speed of light. Like when we use that, we go into relativistic effects, and also like there are different things that happen in that effect.
Okay.
So like,
But can it cross the velocity of light? Can it move with a speed higher than the velocity of light?
I don't think so, sir. In the cyclotron, I don't think so.
Why? You should have some idea. You have studied special theory of relativity. Answer will come from there itself. Of course, the group you belong, that Sudarshan, he worked in an area where he wanted to show that some particles are there which may cross the velocity of light. They used to call it
There are
technon.
some particles.
This is relevant in this context only, but as of now, we are of the opinion that the velocity of light or crossing the velocity of light is not possible as of now.
Possible.
Anyway, go
Yes, sir.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm done with my questions. Thank you, Shravan.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Prajwal sir, Sujata, and Mayuk sir.
Okay. Hello, Shrawan and Neha. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the presentation was very nice. It looked like you did a mini research. I hope everyone equally cooperated. Do you have any idea regarding dimensions of this cyclotron? How big it can be? Any idea?
Yes, sir. It can be very big, sir.
Can we
I
put
think
it
the
in our?
largest.
I mean, can we fix it in Nazareth? Do you think it's possible?
Yes, sir. The small one we can, but like the
Okay.
bigger one we can't, sir.
Okay. So you are hopeful that we may set one in our Nazareth block in the future.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm done, sir, from my part.
Okay, so
Sujata ma'am.
Shravan, Neha, it was a very good presentation, crisp, very short, and you did a very good research, and you covered most of the topics like limitations, advantages, everything. And however, there are a few comments which I will point out at the end of this session. Okay, so my question to you all is, if there is a particle accelerating in a cyclotron, what happens if I increase the mass of the particles? What will be its energy? Will it increase or decrease?
So it should increase, but like cyclotron cannot like even cannot accelerate high masses, the particle which have high masses, so like larger masses.
So what will happen to its energy?
So
It will increase.
It decreases, no, because of the large mass. What happens
yes,
to
sir.
beta particle? Can we accelerate beta particle in a cyclotron?
No,
Beta
sir. We
particle.
can't. Sir.
Okay, that's great. All right. So I'm done. Moving ahead to Tiladana.
So,
Okay, it was a good presentation. So my question is not from cyclotron. So you belong to the group of Sudarshan. So have you heard the name of the scientist before?
yes, ma'am. We were going to do about it. I was thinking of going to present the topic on it, but like I found it hard. That's why I couldn't like we could not. I could not. I thought that I could not explain it properly. That's why I didn't do
Mm-hmm.
it, ma'am.
So means you can tell in one sentence like, do you know about him? Means anything, his famous work or anything, or you can say the name of the topics also.
Ma'am, who invented ECGs and all.
Okay, Neha.
This one. Mm, he was awarded Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan awards.
Okay. Okay, then fine.
You know the full name? E.C. George Sudarshan. His
Yes,
name
sir.
was E.C. George Sudarshan, possibly from Kerala, an Indian scientist, worked with Marshak, a reputed scientist in USA. And at time, people used to expect that they may be awarded Nobel Prize. But unfortunately, the tachyon particles theory it was not tenable at that time, even as of now. This much only in the context of ECG Sudarshan.
Just to add to what Dasa is saying, George Sudarshan is from Kerala. He did his work on tachyons is very hypothetical, but he did two incredibly important pieces of work. One was his work on what is called VA theory, which is the mixing of, which is the combination of electromagnetism and weak theory. which is what people like Feynman and all got the Nobel Prize for.
Hmm.
But they all, Feynman, Salam, all of them got the Nobel Prize for this work. But they all built it based on his work, as I think he was a PhD student back then, and he didn't get the recognition.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the biggest injustice, and he's someone who has been passed over for the Nobel Prize for very because he was not famous enough, basically. The biggest injustice is the 2005 Nobel Prize on laser physics was given to someone called Glauber for something called a P representation. It's a sort of a very abstract idea in quantum mechanics, but Sudarshan was the one who came up with P representation. Glauber criticized that representation. He said it was wrong, and then simply put his name on it, and then republished it as his own paper. Glauber got the Nobel Prize later. Sudarshan got ignored. And this was a huge controversy back in 2005. This is the one that, at least from my limited understanding of his area of physics, this is something Sudarshan should absolutely have gotten a Nobel Prize for. So his name is very famous for that reason. There are a lot of good physicists who have been passed over for Nobel Prize, and it is an undercurrent saying that the big reason he wasn't considered is simply because he wasn't white and Glauber was. That's basically one of the big reasons people have given. All right. So that's it for Sudarshan. That is a great presentation, Shravan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone from the students? Please, anyone, please ask. I think, sir, then we should proceed with the next one.
Yes, yes. Let us proceed for the next.
I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, is there any way that we can actually neglect it or bring something positive to this limitation? Overcome this limitation or something?
Loudly, speak loudly.
Can you type it out in the chat box? I think you were not that audible.
Quickly, quickly. Whatever you have to say, quickly.
Yeah, that's a pertinent question. Shrawan and Neha, please try to answer.
Like,
If answer is ready, then you can tell. Otherwise, you can think it of afterwards.
Okay, sir. I'll be thinking about it, sir, because I don't know the
Okay.
answer right now.
Okay, it's all right. You can think it of.
Okay, sir.
And you can share the answer with Shubhayu.
Okay, sir.
I am asking one question. You all can think it. Now, who is supplying the energy for accelerating the particle? You are accelerating a particle, repeatedly it is going to the D's. Then a time will come when it is highly accelerated and you are taking it out to bombard one experiment so that it can hit the target. Who is supplying the energy? Where from you are getting energy?
The electric
This is my
field.
question. No need of answering right now. You think yourself, discuss among yourself, and afterwards you can tell one of your teacher. Okay then, let us proceed for the next group.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, teachers.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you.